Some of the most valuable treasures from space aren't locked in glass vaults in government facilities or resting silently in science museums, but were auctioned off to the highest bidder, sometimes behind closed doors, often without the public ever knowing. These aren't fictional artifacts from a sci-fi novel, they are real pieces of the cosmos. Fragments of the moon, Mars, and ancient meteorites that carry the chemical scars of solar system formation. From smuggled relics that should have never left their homeland to lunar dust once believed lost forever, here are 10 of the most bizarre and astonishing space artifacts ever sold for a fortune. The Hoba meteorite is the largest known intact meteorite on Earth, weighing in at a colossal 60 tons, embedded where it landed in the plains of Namibia thousands of years ago. It never moved, never rolled, never even bounced. Its sheer weight kept it anchored to the very ground it struck. Protected by Namibian law as a national monument, it was supposed to remain untouched, a relic of cosmic history preserved for public awe. But in 2021, a mysterious 2.8 kilogram cut, illegally sliced from this metallic giant, surfaced in Los Angeles. This shimmering chunk of iron-nickel alloy, forged in the depths of an ancient star, somehow slipped through borders and into private hands. When Bonhams put it up for auction, collectors didn't hesitate. For nearly $60,000, someone bought a stolen piece of stellar history, a decision that sparked outrage in the scientific community. The story of this slice is a reminder that the value of space artifacts isn't just in their rarity, but in their moral and cultural weight. Would you pay thousands for a cosmic heirloom that was never meant to be sold? Over 50,000 years ago, an iron meteorite slammed into what is now Arizona, leaving behind the massive Barringer crater, commonly known as Meteor Crater. From this epic impact came fragments known as the Canyon Diablo meteorites, shattered remnants of that ancient collision. One such piece, weighing 70 pounds and preserved in pristine condition, sat quietly in a private collection for decades. When it finally surfaced at Christie's auction house in 2018, its rugged, pockmarked surface and sharp-edged form drew the eyes of collectors worldwide. But this wasn't just a space rock, it was a physical echo of prehistoric violence, a relic forged in the cataclysms of early planetary formation. Owning it meant owning a direct connection to the chaos that sculpted our solar system. For nearly $250,000, one buyer secured a literal chunk of deep time. No science fiction, just raw extraterrestrial reality in your hands. In the sun-scorched deserts of northwest Africa, hunters discovered 6 interlocking fragments of black stone, pieces that, when fitted together, formed a near-seamless whole. This was NWA 11789, a 12-pound lunar meteorite blasted off the moon's surface by an ancient impact and hurled toward Earth. What set it apart wasn't just its origin, it was its near-perfect, jigsaw-like reassembly, earning it the nickname the Moon Puzzle. The pieces were like celestial relics, torn from another world and pieced back together in hours. In 2018, this meteorite was purchased for over $600,000 by the Tam Chuc Pagoda complex in Vietnam, where monks saw it not just as a scientific marvel, but as a spiritual object, a cosmic offering from the heavens. Whether one sees it as a relic of celestial geology or a divine artifact, its journey from lunar highlands to a sacred temple reminds us that meaning often transcends science. In 1970, during the intense space race of the Cold War, the Soviet Union's Luna 16 mission achieved what had never been done before. It brought lunar samples back to Earth via robotic probe, no human required. From this mission came 3 tiny particles, barely visible to the naked eye, encased in a glass display. These grains, smaller than rice, hold a planetary story billions of years old. Originally gifted by the Soviet government, they changed hands in 1993 and then reappeared at Sotheby's in 2018. Despite their microscopic size, they sold for an astronomical $855,000. Why? Because they remain the only moon samples in private ownership. NASA's Apollo samples are strictly controlled by the United States government. These specs are priceless, because they're forbidden fruit, the only legal lunar material the average citizen could ever hope to own. Worn on the moon by astronaut David Scott, the Bulova chronograph isn't just a luxury timepiece, it's a historical artifact that ticked through one of humanity's greatest achievements. During the Apollo 15 mission, Scott's NASA-issued Omega malfunctioned, prompting him to wear his personal backup, a Bulova prototype designed to endure lunar extremes. The scratches it sustained from moon dust weren't flaws, they were signatures of history. It marked time not just in seconds but in lunar footsteps. In 2015, this one-of-a-kind watch sold for over $1.6 million, making it the only privately owned timepiece worn on the lunar surface. Its value isn't in gold or gears. It's in what it witnessed, the moon underfoot, the silence of space and the pulse of a mission etched into every tick. Long before smartphones could track our every move, the Apollo guidance computer helped astronauts navigate to the moon and back with just 64 kilobytes of memory. Bulky, primitive, and revolutionary, this device was the digital heart of Apollo 11, the silent brain behind the first lunar landing. In 2019, one of the original AGC units emerged for auction and fetched nearly $750,000. It may have lacked the sleek interface of modern tech, but its legacy dwarfed any iPhone. This computer guided a spacecraft across 238,000 miles of void, overcoming system overloads and last-minute glitches to ensure humanity's giant leap. It is a symbol of human ingenuity carved into aluminum and wire that redefined what machines and people could do. Before Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space, the Soviets needed proof their technology could carry life into orbit and back. Enter Vostok 3 K2, the final test capsule, which carried a mannequin named Ivan Ivanovich and a dog named Zvezdochka. This mission was the dress rehearsal for Gagarin's historic flight. It orbited Earth, survived re-entry, and landed safely, a triumphant affirmation that space was within human reach. In 2011, this scorched and singed capsule, still bearing Soviet insignias and Cold War engineering, sold for nearly $3 million. This wasn't a replica, it wasn't a museum prop, it was the actual vehicle that paved the path to the stars, carrying with it the fears and hopes of an era locked in a race for the cosmos. Buzz Aldrin's Apollo 11 in-flight jacket isn't just a piece of clothing, it's wearable history. Worn aboard the spacecraft that took humanity to the moon, the white beta cloth jacket is embroidered with Aldrin's name, the American flag, and the Apollo mission patch. It accompanied him on the most iconic journey ever taken. When it hit the Sotheby's auction block in 2022, it shattered records, becoming the most expensive space-flown apparel ever sold. This jacket felt the rumble of a Saturn V rocket and the calm silence of space. It returned with lunar dust embedded in its fibers. More than a uniform, it is a textile time capsule, stitched with ambition, risk, and triumph. This zippered cloth bag carried something priceless, the first samples ever collected from the moon. Stained with actual lunar dust by Neil Armstrong during the Apollo 11 mission, the bag became the center of an astonishing legal saga. Misfiled in a NASA warehouse and mistakenly sold in a government surplus auction for under $1,000, it was later recognized for what it truly was, an irreplaceable piece of history. NASA fought to reclaim it, but lost in court. In 2017, its new owner auctioned it for $1.8 million. It wasn't just a simple container. It was the first vessel to hold another world, an accidental survivor of bureaucracy, almost lost to time. In July 2025, the world watched as NWA 16788, a colossal 54-pound Martian meteorite, became the most expensive space rock ever sold. Ejected from Mars millions of years ago by a cataclysmic impact, it drifted across the solar system before crashing into the sands of the Sahara. With a blackened, pitted exterior from atmospheric entry and a mineral composition matched directly to volcanic regions on Mars, this meteorite isn't just rare, it's majestic. To hold it is to feel the pulse of another world, to cradle in your hands the ancient geology of a distant planet. Its sale for $5.3 million marks not just a transaction, but a moment where Mars, in a very real sense, was brought home. We stare at the night sky, dreaming of what lies beyond. But sometimes the universe answers back, leaving behind silent messengers in stone, metal, and dust. Some we guard behind glass, some we preserve in labs, and some we auction. Which would you choose to hold? A sliver of the moon, a computer that navigated the stars, or a Martian boulder heavy with time? The wonders of space are not just above us, they're already here and they're for sale.